Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. As you can see, today I'm finally doing the dedicated video to the scent family of Yum Boujee Marshmallow. In today's video, I want to briefly share my thoughts on 6 fragrances, all that are said to be inspired by Yum Boujee Marshmallow by Kayali. I have here fragrances from a variety of different brands, and also at the end I want to compare them. I want to let you know how they perform, which one is the most strawberry forward, which one is the most whipped cream forward, which one is the most hard candy forward. So we have a lot of fragrances to talk and to go through. One disclaimer I want to make before I start this video. The idea behind this video is to review and to compare these fragrances. Even though all are inspirations of Yum Boujee Marshmallow, I will treat them more so of standalone fragrances. So this is not the kind of video that, let's just say, rather focuses on which is the closest or the most spot on. I don't think that exists in English, like which is the closest inspiration to Yum Boujee Marshmallow. So if you are looking for a video that's focused slowly on comparing these fragrances to Yum Boujee Marshmallow, this is not the video. I have smelled that fragrance, but I don't own a sample, a decant or the full bottle to be able to do more of an in-depth comparison, let's say. Without further ado, let's just start. If you have tried any of these fragrances, you are more than welcomed to share your thoughts, your feedback on any of these fragrances. Let me know which one is your favorite one in this scent profile. The fragrances I will be discussing today are Marshmallow Blush from Paris Corner. I have a decant of this fragrance. Lamsat Harir Dubai Chocolate by Arabiyat. I also have a dedicated review, so for in-depth thoughts, feel free to watch that review. Cloud Candy by Khadlaj, also have a dedicated review. I will share my thoughts briefly on this fragrance. Next is Heavenly Marshmallow from Rogue Perfumes. I also wanted to include Schmellow Fluff. The name it's almost like a tongue twister, you know, like Schmellow Fluff. Yeah, so this is from French Avenue, and even though to my nose this doesn't really go into the Yum Boujee Marshmallow by Kayali scent profile, scent direction, but if you look at the notes you might be tempted to think it does lean in that direction, but yeah, to me this is not an inspiration. To me this is a standalone fragrance that follows a bit of a different scent trajectory, let's just say, or scent direction. Even though, like I've mentioned, there are subtle similarities, but I don't think this shares many similarities with all these other fragrances. And last but not least, Genzee Marshmallow by Hekayat Attar. So let's start with the ones that are more whipped cream forward. Let's start with Heavenly Marshmallow by Rogue. So Heavenly Marshmallow by Rogue Perfumes, you can find this brand on Dubai collection. Also, they have upgraded their bottles. Not sure if you can see it, they have the logo. So like I've mentioned, this is the most whipped cream forward one. I'd say think of this fragrance like you'd prepare a fruit salad with a whipped cream, but few specific fruits. But let's just say this is mainly like 70% the whipped cream. That's the core that shines the most from the opening. It's sweet, it's luscious, it's dreamy, it's milky, it's lactonic. It almost feels like fresh whipped cream mixed with lots and lots of powder sugar, but you pick up the sugar more the sweetness rather than the powderiness of the sugar. But it generally feels like you have a bowl filled with lots and lots of whipped cream, and you are preparing, let's just say, a fruit salad, but like I've mentioned, more whipped cream than fruits. But you know, you cut few slices of apple because I get a soft burst of freshness, like an apple kind of freshness. Green apple, I don't know why to my nose. You cut few slices of strawberry, let's just say more slices of strawberry, and you put them there in that whipped cream bowl. You cut some slices of like something peachy, nectarine, like for decoration purposes. You cut a very small and dainty piece of a lemon slice, let's just say. So the opening of this fragrance is very whipped cream dominant, and also the fruity accords. I think this is the only fragrance where the fruity accords come across like freshly cut fruit slices, so they feel light, they feel bright, they don't feel like hard candy kind of a fruity accord like you have in some of these other perfumes. I'd say the fruity accord here is the most, not really refreshing, but let's just say it's the most airy and bright and light and clean around the edges. Like I told you, it genuinely smells like freshly cut fruit slices put on top of a bowl filled with whipped cream. You put lots of powdered sugar on top, and I'd say mainly this has a linear development. I do find changes, subtle changes, nothing over the top. but it smells delicious and beautiful from the get-go. Let me tell you the development I've noticed, and after that I will tell you how it performs. So like I've mentioned, the fragrance feels very sweet from the opening. This is lactonic. The whipped cream is the highlight in this perfume. I do pick up the strawberry, but the strawberry is not as highlighted as the strawberry accord is in some of these other perfumes. But what happens, I also start to pick up beautiful, delicate floral facets. So what happens is the whipped cream is still the spotlight. Let's just say 65% of the fragrance is taken by the whipped cream accord to my nose. And all the other accords act more like nuances, like facets, rather than primary accords in a way, you know? The fruity accord lingers, but I start to pick up beautiful, delicate white floral petals. But it's almost like, again, you take some luscious white floral petals and you just press them lightly on top of that whipped cream bowl with different fruit slices, because in a way the white floral petals almost feel like they are covered into the whipped cream, you know? So texture wise, this feels milky, this feels sweet, this feels dreamy, this feels enveloping in a way. Yeah, very beautiful scent profile they've created here. I'm not really sure if it is the closest one necessarily, because the strawberry doesn't shine as much as the strawberry shines in Yum Boujee Marshmallow from what I remember, but this as a standalone perfume, it's really beautiful, you guys. And dare I say, amongst all fragrances, amongst all of these fragrances, and let me mention something else. First things first, this scent profile in general, for some could come across as a bit more juvenile, a bit more youthful because of the sweetness, because of the whipped cream, because it doesn't have anything deeper, darker to balance, let's just say, those edible gourmand facets out. But I'd say in between all of these fragrances, to me, this is the most refined one, because the sweetness doesn't really lean hard candy-like, and the fruity facets, like I've mentioned, feel light and airy. Yeah, to me this is the most elevated one. So if you are looking for the most elevated and balanced interpretation of Yum Boujee Marshmallow, with the accent on the whipped cream accord rather than the strawberry, and with the fruity facets, with the strawberry, with a hint of something vanillic, with the white floral petals in the background, you will love this fragrance. Yes, it does shy away a bit more from the OG scent profile, but I think it's beautiful what they've created here. This comes across, I don't know, like a very radiant fragrance, like a princessy fragrance, radiant fragrance. For some reason, whenever I smell this fragrance and whenever I smell it, it reminds me very much of the energy of Floral Blend from Perfumes. Maybe it's because of the way they did the whipped cream accord. Yeah, beautiful fragrance. I cannot recommend it enough if you want what I've mentioned, the most complex, let's just say, because the attention is split in between the whipped cream accord, the different fruity facets, the diverse and different fruity facets, let's just say, the white floral petal, something a little bit vanillic, and also you have a bit more going on in this fragrance. Now, performance wise, longevity, maybe I will add a close-up so you can see how this looks when you apply it on your skin, because this is a pretty oily composition. But even though it's oily, it's not the kind of fragrance that projects like crazy. I find that this is the kind of fragrance that longevity-wise, I can smell it even after, let's just say, 6 hours and a half. Of course, it's a skin scent, but I do think it pushes up to the 6 hours and a half, 7th hour mark. Of course, by that time you are able to smell traces of the perfume, but it does stick to the skin very well, and also to the clothes, to your hair, because it is so oily. But I'd say projection, like soft to medium projection. I don't know, I have worn this fragrance out one night when I was going out with my best friend, and I have to say, they did tell me that I smell really good, but they tell me that I smell really good when they hugged me or when they were leaning closer to me in a way, not necessarily when we were all sitting at the table, chatting, laughing, and all of that. So I do think performance, or like, let's just say, longevity is above average, projection soft to medium maximum. Now, since we were discussing whipped cream, let's move on to another fragrance that takes the whipped cream accord and makes it the spotlight, but this time the spotlight is shared with the strawberry accord, and I'm talking about Cloud Candy from Khadlaj. And let me take my hair out of my mouth. Yeah, so this fragrance, again, I haven't done a full in-depth review on the fragrance from Rogue, so I wanted to spend a bit more time to discuss how it smells and everything, but I do have a dedicated review to Cloud Candy from Khadlaj, so please feel free to watch it in case you are interested in hearing, let's just say, more of an in-depth approach when it comes to this fragrance. But like I've mentioned, this to me, This takes the strawberry and this takes the whipped cream. And if you're a lover of whipped cream and if you're a lover of strawberry, I think this will be your best option to take into account. Now in the opening, the strawberry feels almost like strawberry jam, you know, like soft, mushy, warm strawberry jam. That's the vibe. Gentle raspberry facets that add the soft, like this beautiful, soft, tart, red fruity facet. But I love the strawberry accord here. Like I've mentioned, this comes across like a jammy strawberry, like a warm strawberry jam, whereas the strawberry accord in the previous fragrance came across like your freshly cut slices of strawberry, you know? So this is much sweeter, much warmer, much denser. It has much more of a body to it, the strawberry accord. So this fragrance, I'd say, mainly features a beautiful lactonic accord with the strawberry. In this composition, they split the attention, let's just say, they split the spotlight, you know. The whipped cream accord, think silky, milky, creamy whipped cream, also a bit airy and sugary. It's just like when you take whipped cream out of a tube, you know, it has that airiness about it, but it also, like, once you taste it, it's almost like it melts in your mouth and you get the sugary part, you get that milky part, it's sweet, it's silky, you know. This is that kind of whipped cream you have here. Paired with beautiful powdery sugary facets, I'm guessing that's from the marshmallow accord, a beautiful jammy strawberry, and as it develops, some creamy vanilla-like facets, and almost this like a touch of something coconutty, a touch of something floral, but again, very delicate, very delicate. I'd say the floral accord was much more accentuated in the previous fragrance, in Heavenly Marshmallow from Rogue. The florals here, they are like very soft and delicate, barely there, but when you smell it and smell it and smell it, you are able to pick them up. So for me, the longevity, projection, sillage for this fragrance, they are decent, you guys. Like I've mentioned in the review, I didn't have any issues with the performance of this fragrance. This fragrance smelled good, not even good. This fragrance smelled amazing from the get-go. Like, I fallen in love with this fragrance on the first sniff, you know. In my case, but under that review, I received different feedback. Some told me this fragrance, like the milky accord, smells a little bit funky on their skin. Others told me that to them it smelled like gasoline. I'm not really sure. If I still have the box, I will add the batch code as a reference. I will add the batch code. But yeah, what can I tell you? Solid fragrance, you guys. Like a beautiful, 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 again, princessy, girly. If this feels more like your elevated with a touch of something gourmand, this is generally your playfulness, flirtiness, giggliness, if that's a word, happiness in a bottle, you know. This is a girly, this is very fun, this is very soft. I have a layering video recently uploaded where I feature some layering combos with this scent profile, so feel free to watch the video if you love to layer your fragrances. Yeah, I like that it never comes across like too sickly sweet, too suffocating, even though it's a very sweet fragrance. But it has this innate airiness throughout the composition, from the opening till the heart, from the heart till the dry down, so it never gets to feel sickly sweet by any means. If you are looking for a fragrance that features a beautiful jammy strawberry accord with a whipped cream accord that shines, very realistic whipped cream accord, very sweet, I think this is again a beautiful option to take into account. Like I mentioned, if you love strawberry and if you love whipped cream, so I'd say these are my thoughts on Cloud Candy. I don't really know what else to tell you about this fragrance. I think it's an amazing fragrance, even as a standalone fragrance. I don't think you can go wrong with something like this. But then again, do your own research, always try to get samples, decant, so yes. Now, let's move on to the other fragrances. Let's move on to these next two fragrances, Genzee Marshmallow and Marshmallow Blush from Paris Corner, because besides the opening, because I feel like the opening is different in Genzee Marshmallow and Marshmallow Blush, but let's just say 40 minutes in, I get a common DNA between these two fragrances. So let's continue with these fragrances. Let me just quickly mark these samples, these test strips. Okay, great. So let's continue with Genzee Marshmallow. Yes. So Genzee Marshmallow from Hekayat. This is a very beautiful release as well. Okay, so the strawberry here genuinely smells like this kind of milk strawberry candies. I used to love them when I was a kid. I used to love them. So the strawberry accord does come across a little bit like hard candy sugary, but also like strawberry yogurt, strawberry milk, but again in the hard candy sugary format. It's almost like the flavor with a beautiful whipped cream accord and a creamy vanilla. So I imagine the whipped cream accord here a bit more complex, a bit more diverse. So you don't have just the whipped cream accord that comes across like lactonic and silky and dreamy and everything like that. To me, the whipped cream accord, it's almost like you mix it with few drops of vanilla essence, and it's almost like as the scent develops, pretty much that hard candy strawberry facet still lingers, some soft raspberry-like facets in the opening. I also pick up in the opening for like a brief few seconds this like sweet orange, sweet mandarin orange. So the opening feels a bit more vibrant, a bit more diverse in the fruity department, but the whipped cream does shine. And the more it develops, the more the whipped cream with the vanilla and almost with this buttery thick accord, they start to develop more, and the strawberry moves in the background pretty much. So I tell you what sets this one apart. First things first, the strawberry accord is like hard candy, like a strawberry milk, strawberry yogurt hard candy. But it's the way they did the whipped cream. Like I told you, to me the whipped cream, it's almost like you have a bowl with whipped cream, you add a few vanilla essence drops, and then it's almost like you mix it with something very buttery, because the overall texture of the fragrance, especially from the heart till the dry down, goes very rich and buttery and fatty even, you know what I mean? It has that buttery thickness about it. Yeah, so this is the thickest accord. This is the thickest whipped cream / creamy accord. Yeah, and it feels also very complex and very diverse. So I think where they took this DNA, they truly amplified the whipped cream with the creamy vanilla, with this buttery thickness. Yeah. And of course the strawberry. To me, all those citrusy facets you have in the opening, like I told you, like something like sweet orange, sweet mandarin orange, with a touch of something like a tart raspberry accord, they are very subtle in the background, and you lose them pretty much quickly. But I tell you what lingers to me is this hard candy strawberry facet with that trio, the whipped cream with the creamy vanilla essence and with that buttery thick accord. And I do have to say, you guys, it adds such a beautiful touch to the blend. Yeah, it makes it like, how to say, like weight-wise, very intense, like much more intense, much more full-bodied, much more opaque than, for instance, Cloud Candy. To me, Cloud Candy has somewhat of a transparency throughout it. Like I told you, you have this beautiful airiness throughout it. You know, this is a fully opaque fragrance to my nose. Yeah, this has nothing transparent, translucent about it. These are my thoughts on Genzee Marshmallow. To save a little bit of time, I will add the performance here on the screen, but let me just tell you that this is one of the longest lasting fragrances. This, along with Marshmallow Blush and with this one from Rogue, Heavenly Marshmallow, but this also projects, I feel like, and this also projects. But anyways, so those were my thoughts on Genzee Marshmallow. Again, it's very hard, you guys, because all these fragrances have their beauty. It's not like I am comparing, I don't know, like 3 horrible takes on this DNA with other 4 beautiful ones. You know, I'm comparing here fragrances that are all very beautiful and all shine in their own way, in their own direction. So it's a bit hard to compare. Now, moving on to Marshmallow Blush. So like I've mentioned, to me, Marshmallow Blush kind of shares 40 minutes in some similarities. And let me tell you the similarities. Basically, it's that whipped cream with the creamy vanilla that's similar to Genzee Marshmallow to my nose. It lacks that buttery thickness pretty much. But you know what? Let me just tell you how it smells like from the opening. So the opening is very different. Like for a brief second, yes, it gives me again like a strawberry milk, strawberry with yogurt, hard candy. But then it gets to smell like a dessert we used to have here in Romania. I don't know if it's still available, but if you've tried this dessert right here, I'm not really sure how it's called in English. Didn't even look it up in English, to be quite honest. But basically, it's like a strawberry mousse. It's not the type of mousse you'd expect, the kind of mousse that's very silky and it just melts in your mouth. No, it's the kind of like a strawberry mousse made with artificial strawberry flavor. So it has this very pronounced artificial strawberry flavor with lots of sugar, so it's very sweet, and it's that kind of mousse that sticks to your teeth, sticks to your fingers, sticks to your nails, sticks to the teaspoon, sticks to everything. Basically, it's very sticky and gooey in a way. but mousse-like, that's the kind of dessert I'm talking about. And to me, like 5 minutes in, the strawberry goes in that direction. The first time I ever smelled this fragrance, that dessert, like the image of that dessert automatically popped in my mind, and I was like, oh my god, I've never ever smelled something like this. And it's not even one of my favorite desserts, so it's not like I was eating it a lot when I was younger. I think if I've tried it once or twice, but for me, I don't know, I was not really a strawberry dessert kind of girl. Yeah, but it smells like a patisserie. It smells like not really like a bakery, like a patisserie, you know. It smells like, I have to say, this is the most edible one out of all these fragrances, and this is the only one that actually gives me dessert vibes, like genuinely like an edible dessert. So I think it's safe to say that this is the most edible gourmand leaning out of all these fragrances. But again, like I've mentioned, up until, let's just say, the 40th minute mark, because after that mark it kind of develops somewhat similar to Genzee Marshmallow, but for 40 minutes on my skin, all I was able to smell was the dessert. But 40 minutes in, like I've mentioned, it goes back to the Yum Boujee Marshmallow direction. Also very oily, one of the oiliest fragrances. I feel like this one with Genzee Marshmallow and with Heavenly Marshmallow from Rogue are some of the oiliest. The Rogue's version is the oiliest, as you most likely saw in the video, but I will add a close-up with how this sprays on the skin as well. So yeah, what to tell you guys, I like the direction they took this DNA towards. It feels like a mix of emotions, like it feels like something you're supposed to eat, so it feels edible and delicious and full of flavor and gourmand, but it feels also a little bit nostalgic and melancholic, because it reminds me of like desserts from early 2000. I don't even know if that dessert is still on the market, honestly. Anyway, it was like a bomb full of sugar and artificial flavors and everything, but the scent of that is what I remember the most. The scent was delicious. Performance for this fragrance is amazing. Again, longevity up until the 6-hour mark, 6.5 hours on my skin. Now projections, yeah, I haven't tested them honestly, but by the strength of the scent on my skin, I do think this is the kind of fragrance that performs. And also this feels very full bodied and opaque, nothing translucent, transparent like you have in this fragrance, you know. This has nothing airy about it. Only, let's just say, in the last bits of the dry down, it goes a little bit more powdery, sugary from the marshmallow accord. From the heart till the dry down, it does get to a point, after you lose that edible gourmand dimension, it does get to a point where, like, the strawberry fessa moves in the background, you have something like a creamy vanilla. I have to say, this doesn't lean as lactonic, as whipped cream forward, as Heavenly Marshmallow from Rogue, as Cloud Candy from Khadlaj. I'd say this is more of a creamy vanilla rather than like a full-on whipped cream accord. But think creamy vanilla, but then with powdery sugary facet from the marshmallow accord. This is how it develops. Again, beautiful fragrance, nothing sharp, nothing alcoholic, nothing to complain. And now, last but not least, in the Kayali-esque scent family, and then I will and I will share my thoughts briefly on Marshmallow Fluff, but I have a dedicated review for the fragrance with the 2 other fragrances from that collection. Yeah, let me see. So this is for the Dubai chocolate one. So let me just take a moment to spread this fragrance. Also, I have a dedicated review for Lamsat Harir Dubai chocolate, so feel free to watch it if you would like to hear my in-depth thoughts on this fragrance. But Lamsat Harir Dubai chocolate, again, very diverse in the fruity department, almost like, interestingly enough, the fruity accord, it feels as diverse as the fruity accord in Heavenly Marshmallow from Rogue, though it's like a different type of fruity accord. So I pick up like something like a green apple, something like a little bit sweet and lemony, sweet and citrusy, something a little bit strawberry-like, something a little bit raspberry-like. Also, I do pick up alcohol in this fragrance, like it is a little bit alcohol-y in the opening, like peachy nectarine, but think of all these different various fruity facets in a hard candy format. This is how I'd say the fruity accord plays here, whereas the fruity accord here was more like your freshly cut fruit slices, you know, so they felt much more fresh, yeah. But I love a well-done hard candy sugary accord. Yes, you guys, this of course follows the same direction as the others. Let's just say after the opening, like 15 minutes in, is a strawberry with milk kind of hard candy. The type that you have in fragrances like Genzee Marshmallow, you know. Yeah, so it's that type of strawberry accord. Delicate tart raspberry facets, but I do pick up something creamy, but it's almost like, I think like a creamy sandalwood accord, you know? This is how it comes across more like to my nose, rather than a full-on milky whipped cream accord. It's almost like a creamy sandalwood paired with a creamy vanilla as the base, so the base feels quite creamy and warm and dense, very delicate and girly at the same time, and you have this strawberry hard candy overtone to this fragrance. I feel like this is the most hard candy-esque out of all. Also longevity-wise, I think this is one of the least long-lasting fragrances on my skin. So yeah, Marshmallow Fluff, don't purchase this fragrance looking for something similar, not even a twist on the DNA of Yum Boujee Marshmallow, because to my nose, like I've mentioned, even though I cannot tell you which is the closest one, but I have smelled it, so to my nose some are more like a twist on the Yum Boujee Marshmallow DNA, you know, whereas this is something completely different. So this was the video, guys. What do you think about it? I don't know, what do you think about these fragrances? To some of my thoughts, let me just put aside Marshmallow Fluff because it's from a completely different movie, and let me take a look at these fragrances, at these 5 beautiful fragrances. So yeah, I think first things first, it's not that kind of scenario where, I don't know, like this one is the best, the other ones are trash. None of these fragrances are trash. All of these fragrances are beautiful, well done fragrances, but they all take and highlight different facets from Yum Boujee Marshmallow. Let's just say some lean more hard candy style, while others highlight a very beautiful whipped cream accord. And in some fragrances, the whipped cream accord is the spotlight, like in this fragrance right here. Or in this fragrance right here, where the spotlight is the whipped cream with that strawberry, with that jammy of a strawberry accord. In other fragrances, the whipped cream is not really the spotlight, it acts more texture-wise, like here, it's paired with a beautiful vanilla, it's paired with a rich buttery accord, so it feels extremely layered and dense and intense. Yeah, I don't know, you guys, I think it all comes down to what you want. Honestly, all are beautiful. I think it comes down to what you are looking to add. Again, take this video as one perspective, do your own research, ideally try to get some samples, get some decants, test them on your skin and see how you feel about them. But yeah, if you want hard candy, this could be a beautiful option. If you want edible dessert, Marshmallow Blush could be a beautiful option. If you want the thickest, most intense of a whipped cream accord with something buttery, with vanilla, with a hard candy like strawberry accord, Genzee Marshmallow would be an outstanding option. If you're not a fan of strawberry in perfumes, but you like a whipped cream accord and you like the idea of some velvety, milky floral petals, you like the idea of different various cleaned around the edges fruity accords, Heavenly Marshmallow would be a wonderful option. Or if you like the idea of strawberries and whipped cream, cloud candy would be the best option then. So these are my thoughts. I hope you found this video helpful. If I have forgotten to mention some details, some aspects, feel free to put them in the comment section and I promise that I will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Let me know what are some of your favorite fragrances in this scent profile. Like if you'd have to choose, let's just say maybe you love this scent profile, the Yum Boujee Marshmallow scent world, and you would have to choose like 1 or 2 inspirations, like which ones are your favorite or which ones would make that top. Yes, I will see you in my next video. Hopefully like the video, leave me a comment, help me a little bit, you guys, because the algorithm, since that freaking bot attack, has not really been on my side sometimes it has, sometimes it hasn't. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video, but until then I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye guys.